What's up, everybody? Kyle here at Let's Talk Wax. The 2022 Bowman Draft Checklist is live with a set release date of December 21st. This release focuses on all the 2022 draftees, and I'm going to be breaking down my personal top 25 favorite from the checklist. Stay tuned.
Before we dig into my personal top 25, I want to take a moment to explain some data on my graphs. Red text highlights exceptional stats, while blue text indicates poor stats, and the bolded numbers show the highest and lowest stat in each category. LTWR stands for Let's Talk Wax rank, and it goes as follows. Elite is the highest rank a player can receive, and number ranks go from 1 to 5, with 1 being excellent and 5 being bad. As I mentioned before, this channel only covers hitters, so you won't find any pitchers on this list. At number 25, we have Ryan Cermak. Cermak was drafted in the second round out of Illinois State University. The Missouri Valley Conference isn't exactly a baseball powerhouse, but Cermak was good for a .340 batting average and a .356 ISO in his junior season. He's never played in a competitive collegiate wooden bat league, and his K numbers are a bit reflective. He's a superior athlete with plus arm strength and high defensive upside in center field. If he can learn to handle a wooden bat and cut down his K rate in 2023, he could be a big sleeper out of this release. Although it's a small sample size, I just can't get over those current K numbers. At number 24, we have Dominic Keegan, who was drafted in the 4th round out of Vanderbilt University, where he hit for both average and power during his junior and senior year. He hit .371 his senior year in the toughest conference in all of college baseball, the SEC, and also showed his ability to hit for average and power with a wooden bat in the Cape Cod Baseball League in 2021. He had a quality start to his professional debut, hitting 2 doubles and 4 home runs across 46 plate appearances between the Complex League and Low A. Keegan spent all 12 games behind the plate for the Rays in 2022, but has experience at first base if his backstop skills aren't good enough to translate in the MLB. Kevin Parada comes in 23rd on this list, and he was drafted in the first round, 11th overall out of Georgia Tech University, where he hit 26 home runs with a .361 batting average during his sophomore year. He's not the greatest behind the plate, but his bat is one of the best among NCAA draftees in 2022. Parada doesn't have much speed, but he's capable of hitting for a ton of power and average. He hit .275 with a .150 ISO between the Complex League and Low A in his professional debut, and should start the 2023 season in High A. I could see a position change to left field or first base here, but the bat should play at either position. At number 22, we have Chandler Simpson, who was drafted in the 2nd round out of Georgia Tech, where he hit .434 with 27 stolen bases. His speed is lightning in a bottle, but his power numbers are way below average. He only hit 1 home run in 4 collegiate seasons and 2 collegiate summer ball seasons. His defensive ceiling is low, but he could profile as a top-of-the-order hitter who rarely strikes out and terrorizes major league pitching on the base paths. At 22, the power should be manifesting at some capacity, but it's not. He could be an exciting D. Gordon type player with more bat. At 21, we have the younger brother of Josh, Jace Young, who was selected in the 1st round, 12th overall, and profiles as one of the top college bats in the 2022 draft. Young hit .335 with a .277 ISO while taking more walks than Ks in his junior year at Texas Tech. His professional debut was much like his first taste of competitive wooden bat action in the Cape Cod League. Not so good. I could be wrong, but there seems to be a significant difference in the numbers between wood and aluminum. On the other side of the fence, he's only had 168 plate appearances with the lumber, so I could be digging a bit too deep here. He's limited defensively, with his future home most likely ending at first base. Sal Stewart takes the 20 spot and was drafted in the 1st round, a competitive balance A pick out of Westminster Christian High School. From what I've gathered, he possesses easy raw power and the ability to hit for average, which led to his high draftability, if that's even a word. He's an average athlete with a third base ceiling, but he's in an organization that holds some of the top tier infielders in all of minor league baseball. A slide to first base may be in the cards here, but he posted excellent K numbers while hitting for average and a bit of power in his professional debut. Tyler Locklear takes the 19th spot and was drafted in the 2nd round out of Virginia Commonwealth University. The Atlantic 10 doesn't rank near the top of collegiate's best baseball conferences, but Locklear's numbers were incredible during his junior year. He hit .402 with a .397 ISO, 20 tanks, and 25 doubles. I would talk more about him playing in a weak conference, but he performed well in the Cape Cod League in 2021. He's got big raw power, but most likely will end up at first base trying to prevent becoming a slugger. He's one of several 22-year-olds on this checklist, which shortens his timeline for development. He'll need to move rapidly through the Mariners system to get any hobby love. At number 18, we've got Jordan Beck, drafted in the 1st round competitive balance A out of the University of Tennessee. He He hit .298 with a .297 ISO in his junior year in the SEC with fringe K numbers for college players. He's a big dude with above average athleticism and a right field type cannon arm. He hit .296 with a 181 ISO and elite K numbers across the complex league and low A this year, squashing any arguments that he struggles with a wooden bat. Cade Doughty was Toronto's second round compensation pick in the 2022 draft, hailing from LSU. He hit .289 with a .269 ISO in his junior year at LSU with 15 home runs and 19 doubles. Doughty doesn't have any exciting athleticism or tools, but he's got a lot of defensive upside, having an experience in the SEC at third base, second base, and shortstop. He also had success in 2 NCAA summer leagues where he hit .429 and .280 with the wood. The 16 spot belongs to Jet Williams, who was drafted in the first round, 14th overall out of Rockwall Heath High School. He's battled an injury to his throwing shoulder over the last year, which may be a bit of a red flag. Besides having an awesome first name, he's a plus runner with way above average power for a 5'8" prospect. He kept his K percentage and ground ball to fly ball rates down in his pro debut, leading to a 188 ISO. Jet will be a guy I definitely keep a close eye on in 2023, and I may have him a bit underranked at this point. If you guys enjoy my videos and want to help support the channel, please check out my Patreon page. I've got lots of exclusive content over there, including detailed autograph checklist breakdowns of all Bowman releases since 2019, including 2022 Bowman Chrome and 2022 Bowman Draft. I've got a top 100 Bowman Chrome autos list and a top 100 Bowman Chrome autos under a $50 list. If you enjoy breaking, I've got you covered with team break guides for all Bowman releases since 2020. You also get early access to video information and access to the Let's Talk Wax private Discord server. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I'll put a link to it in the description. Cracking into our top 15 is Dylan Beavers, who was drafted in the first round competitive balance A out of the University of California by the Baltimore Orioles, an organization known for developing college bats quite well, like Rushman, Westberg, Norby, and Cowser. He's very athletic and stands at a towering 6 foot 4 inches with enough raw talent to profile as a 5-tool player. Much like Gilbert, Beavers doesn't have much competitive experience with a wooden bat outside of a lackluster 35 plate appearance showing in the Cape Cod League. He hit .322 with a 138 ISO across 3 levels in 2022. His sub 150 ISO in the MILB is a bit concerning, but he was good for 17 home runs and 16 doubles in his junior year at California. Drew Gilbert takes the 14 spot and was drafted in the first round out of the University of Tennessee, where he had a dominating junior year, hitting .362 with a 311 ISO. He's 5'9", but packs a big bat to match his top-tier arm strength. Despite not having any competitive experience with a wooden bat, Gilbert performed well in his first professional season, hitting .313 with a .218 ISO across 2 levels. There isn't game-changing athleticism here, but his refined approach and bat-to-ball skills will drive the car. As I mentioned before, he hasn't had much experience with a wooden bat, and I'd really like to see a full season sample size in high A before I go any higher than a 2. Eric Brown is at number 13, who was drafted in the first round, 27th overall out of Coastal Carolina University, where he hit .330 during his junior year with a .214 ISO. He also proved his worth with a wooden bat in 2021, hitting .282 in the Cape. He's got the ability to stick at shortstop with his way above average athleticism, and his savvy on the base paths makes him look a lot faster than a stopwatch. He has the makeup to be a high floor player, hitting for average, fringe power, and holding great K numbers, but his understanding of the game and makeup could propel him into more of a ceiling guy. At number 12, we have Cole Young, who was drafted in the first round, 21st overall out of North Allegheny High School, and immediately went to work playing across 2 levels in his first professional season. Although Young may not have standout tools, he does a lot of things well that make him more of a floor player. He hit for significant average with elite K numbers between the complex league and low A, but his power output was crushed by high ground ball to fly ball rates. There's a lot of time to adjust launch angle and grow into more power, as he's one of the youngest players taken in the 2022 draft. Judd Fabian brings home the 11th spot after being drafted in the second round in competitive balance round B out of University of Florida. He's unranked in a stacked Orioles farm system, but hit 24 home runs in the SEC during his senior year with excellent K numbers and above average speed. He played center field in the majority of his games in his professional debut while hitting .333, which is out of character for a 250-ish college hitter, with a .282 ISO. Fabian reminds me a bit of Jesse Franklin from the 2020 draft. We're going to break into our top 10 with Termarr Johnson, who was drafted in the first round, 4th overall out of Mays High School. He's one of the youngest players on this checklist, and scouts rave about the ceiling of his bat, naming him as one of the best pure hitters to come out of high school in years. There's average athleticism here, and a shift to the right side of second base may become his defensive ceiling. He didn't shine in his pro debut, and the K numbers are a bit concerning to me, but I'm only working with an 82 plate appearance sample size. I'll need to see a full season in 2023 to better understand his offensive ceiling and whether his K numbers were a fluke or a major red flag in his development. Ivan Melendez takes the number 9 spot, and he is a bat first prospect, but man is it a big one. He was drafted in the second round by the D-backs out of the University of Texas, where he earned the nickname the Hispanic Titanic after hitting 32 home runs in 2022. Melendez was the 2022 Golden Spikes Award winner and touts 70 grade power as he carried a 476 ISO in his final year at UT. He's never played in any competitive wooden bat leagues, so his professional debut was his first experience away from an aluminum bat. His small 106 sample size was neither bad or good, but his power ceiling is to the moon. Outside of his bat, he's most likely destined for first base. The person I think about when talking about Melendez is Pete Alonso. Coming in the 8th spot is Caden Wallace, who was drafted in the second round out of the University of Arkansas, where he hit .298 with 16 home runs and 20 stolen bases as a sophomore in the SEC. He's one of the bigger power bats on this checklist and has shown the ability to hit for average with great K numbers across competitive collegiate summer leagues, the SEC, and in his professional debut with the Royals. He's most likely a third baseman, but the bat could carry him a long way in the Royals system. Scouts note that he can get a bit pool happy at times, but he reduced his pool percentage from 66 to 37 after his promotion to A-ball. I'd like to see what Wallace can do in the upper minors, and I should have my wish granted in 2023, while he will most likely be starting the year in high A or double A. Dalton Rushing takes the number 7 spot, having finally gotten the chance to shine after Henry Davis was drafted first overall in 2021. Rushing had an amazing junior year at Louisville, where he hit .310 with 23 home runs, racking up a .376 ISO. He didn't slow down much in his professional debut, where he put up the same elite numbers as he did at Louisville. It looks like the Dodgers got a steal in the second round by grabbing a big power bat that has the ability to stick behind the plate. Mikey Romero comes in at number 6 and was drafted in the first round, 24th overall out of Orange Lutheran High School. He doesn't have exceptional athleticism and may not stick at shortstop, especially with Mayer in the system, but his bat could easily profile at second base. He showed off his primary tool across 2 levels this year, hitting .304 with 11 extra base hits across only 87 plate appearances. There are some questions about his power, as his ISO was inflated by doubles and triples, but he's yet to turn 19 and has plenty of time to add strength to his 6'1" frame. Breaking into the big guns at number 5 is Elijah Green, who was drafted in the first round, 5th overall out of the IMG Academy in Florida. He's one of the top prep athletes in the 2022 draft and sports a ton of tools to go along with his 6'3" frame. Green has the ability to hit for average and power, but there were concerns about his swing and miss, which were exacerbated by his 40% K rate in his professional debut in the Complex League. 52 plate appearances is a small sample size, so I'm interested to see if he can reduce the K rate over the course of a full professional season in 2023. Much like Elly De La Cruz, the K numbers didn't seem to slow his production down, which tells me when he does make contact, it's rather noisy. At number 4 is Brooks Lee, drafted in the first round, 8th overall out of Cal Poly, where he won the Big West Co-Player of the Year award in 2022. Lee is probably one of, if not the best, contact hitter on this checklist. He's hit over 300 in each of his 3 seasons at Cal Poly and across the Cape Cod League and Northwoods Collegiate Summer Leagues. He doesn't have impact speed, but his arm strength should allow him to grow into a third base ceiling defensively. The big question here is the power output. In 2022, he put up a .262 ISO in the Cape while posting a .307 ISO in his final year at Cal Poly, but it dwindled in his professional debut, most likely due to his very high ground ball to fly ball rates. He's one of a small few NCAA bats to play in AA the same year he was drafted, and could see a promotion to the MLB as early as 2023. Zach Neto gets the bronze medal in this breakdown with a 13th overall pick in the 2022 draft out of Campbell University, where he won Conference Player of the Year awards in 2021 and 2022. I got Trey Sweeney vibes here with a guy who put up video game numbers in a below-average college conference, but unlike Sweeney, Neto had immediate success in his professional debut. As I mentioned before, there aren't many college draftees that make it to AA in their first professional season, let alone have success on the level. He's a stretch to stick at shortstop, but hasn't been moved off the position by the Angels, most likely because their farm is incredibly weak. There's no superior athleticism here, but he's a very well-balanced player who could impact a big league lineup. If it weren't for the Halos acquiring Logan O'Hoppe in 2022, Neto would be the Org's #1 overall prospect. If he stays this polished to start the 2023 season, we could see him in the big leagues as well sometime in his second pro season. Gavin Cross is the silver medalist in this breakdown, drafted in the first round, 9th overall out of Virginia Tech, where he hit .328 with a .332 ISO. With the exception of a small 23 plate appearance sample size in the Cape in 2021, he's hit over 300 at every competitive level in his collegiate career. The ACC isn't a great conference, but it didn't seem to affect his performance in 2022, where between the Complex League and A-Ball, he hit .312 with a .321 ISO, 8 homers, 7 doubles, and 135 plate appearances. Cross is a big bat that's limited defensively, but if he continues to obliterate professional pitching, it won't matter where he ends up with the glove. At number 1 is Jackson Holliday, the number 1 overall pick in the 2022 draft out of Stillwater High School. His $8.19 million signing bonus is the highest to date among high school draftees. His bat is the leading tool here, but he's also got enough speed and athleticism to make an impact on the bases and stick at shortstop long term. What stands out the most for me are the K numbers. I cannot recollect a single 19-year-old that hit near 300 and walked twice as much as they struck out. His approach and discipline are second to none in this draft class, and he could be a monster bat as his body strength catches up to his approach. As I mentioned before, if you guys want to help support the channel and gain access to some really cool exclusive content, head over to my Patreon page. It's also where I've got my complete 2022 Bowman Draft breakdown. I'll put a link to it in the description. I'd also like to take a minute to thank all of my Level 3 sponsors over on Patreon: Max, Brad, Bruce Wiley, Craig Kwiatkowski, G Squared Collectibles, Castle Cards, Eric Alonzo, Graham Cochran, Jason Hall, Jonathan Asensio, Andrew Smith, Just Stingers Breaks, Kenny, Larry Canterbury, Lucas Bonita, Supden Bros, 909 Sports Cards, Max Antony, Michael McDonough, Mike Barrier, Nico Suave, and Tom Barta. And another shout out to everyone who supports the channel. I appreciate the views. If you enjoy this content, please subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos where I've got a 2022 Bowman Chrome Top 25 list as well. Y'all have a great day and good luck ripping. Be sure to let me know who you're chasing in the comments out of 2022 Bowman Draft.